Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I have a really exciting video for you guys. I am going to be doing a book haul. I went to YALLFest yesterday, which is a huge book festival in Charleston, South Carolina that I try to go to every single year, and they have a ton of 2024 young adult releases that you are able to get early copies of, and all of the publishers are there. We have Fierce Reads, Underline, Source Books, Penguin Teen, a ton of authors, and a lot of the authors do signings. I have gotten some of my books signed in the past, and I was able to get 2 signed yesterday, so I will share that with you guys. But I wanted to share with you all of the arcs that I was able to pick up. But before we go ahead and get on to the book haul, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new content. I post new bookish videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. Also, don't forget to check down in the description box below for links to my Patreon, where I do book giveaways, as well as my Amazon shop, where I have all of the books that I talk about on my channel that I really enjoyed. The first book is The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland. I was super excited to get this book because I read House of Hollow from her a couple of months ago and enjoyed it, and I said that I would definitely be interested in picking up more of her work. I do have a full review for House of Hollow, so I will link that up in the cards if you're interested in checking it out. But in this book, we are following 3 different girls. The first one is Zara, and Zara had a sister who unfortunately died, and she's having a lot of trouble accepting that. So she decides to do whatever she can to resuscitate her sister from the grave, even if it means dabbling in the occult. Next, we're following a girl named Jude, and Jude is the daughter of a billionaire, and she made a deal with a demon, and it went horribly wrong, and ever since she made this deal, she has been marred by pain and sickness and all these horrible things, and she actually has been able to see beyond, or through the veil that is between the living and the dead, so she's actually willing to do whatever she can to get rid of this curse. And lastly, we have a girl named Emmer, and Emmer is a witch, and she dabbles in dark magic, and she basically offers up her services to women in desperate situations. At some point, Zara and Jude end up crossing paths, and they decide to search for Emmer together to see if she will be able to help them. But when Emmer's clients end up turning up dead, this leads Zara and Jude directly to her. There's a serial killer targeting Emmer's clients, and she ends up making an alliance with June and Zara for them to help figure out what's going on. So The Invocations sounds like a creepy mystery horror type story with a bit of dark magic, which I'm here for. So I'm super excited to have a copy of this book, and The Invocations comes out in January 2024. Next, we have Dark Fable by Catherine Harbour. I am not familiar with this author at all, so she is definitely new to me, and I just want to say that I absolutely love this cover. I think it is so flipping gorgeous, and this book has been described as a good read for those who really enjoyed Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. In this book, we are following a girl named Evie, and Evie is an orphan, and she's basically gone through her life pretty much unnoticed until a heist that she's a part of goes horribly wrong, and she ends up capturing the attention of the Dark Fable. The Dark Fable is a group of thieves, and they end up coercing her into working for them because she has the ability to turn invisible, which obviously is a really good skill for a group of thieves. Evie willingly joins this group of thieves, but as she begins to work with them, she starts to uncover a lot of things about the group that are a bit dark and a bit tragic, and somehow connect her dark past to their workings as a heist group. So I think that this sounds like a fun, dark, mysterious book, and I'm super glad to have it. Dark Fable comes out in January 2024. Next, we have These Deadly Prophecies by Andrea Tang. This is another author who I'm not familiar with, but this book sounded super fun. In this book, we're following a girl named Tabitha, and Tabitha is apprenticed to one of the most powerful sorcerers in the entire world, but she didn't think that her apprenticeship would include her having to solve crimes. When her boss, Sorcerer Solomon, ends up predicting his own death and it comes true, Tabitha finds herself in the middle of trying to figure out what happened. The police believe that Tabitha had something to do with this murder, so she ends up having to partner up with the sorcerer's youngest son as they team up and figure out what happened. And this just sounds like a fun fantasy murder mystery, which I don't think I've ever read really a murder mystery with a fantastical, premise with it before. So this just sounds super fun, and I'm glad I got a copy of it. And These Deadly Prophecies comes out in February 2024. Next, we have Snow Globe by Soyoung Park, and this is actually a South Korean book that has been translated into English. And I've actually started reading this. I started reading it this morning, and I'm only on page 12, just because the premise sounded really interesting. It is a dystopian with a little bit of sci-fi, futuristic type story, and I don't know, I was just in the mood for that. But we are following a world where basically we've entered a new ice age, and the main character Choban lives in a world where it's -50 all of the time, and the only temperate, climate controlled part of the world is under this massive dome called the snow globe. But the thing is that regular people can't live there, so everything that happens inside of the snow globe is actually televised. So it's like this huge reality show, and all the people that live within there are considered like reality stars. And outside the snow globe, the world is so bleak that everybody just watches this show all the time because it's the only thing that brings them joy. And everybody in Choban's city basically works at the power plant, and it's just a very bleak existence. And everybody who lives within the snow globe, yes, their lives are televised, but they have, fame, prestige, wealth, everything that they could ask for. But like I said, their lives are constantly televised. So one day, the main lead of Choban's favorite reality show ends up dead. But the funny thing is that Choban actually looks exactly like her. So the people inside the snow globe reach out to her to see if she will jump into this reality show, because no one knows that this actual woman, this main character, died. So she does, but then she starts to learn that things within the snow globe are not exactly how they seem, and having her life constantly televised is not all it's cut out to be, and she just starts to uncover these deep, dark secrets. So like I said, I'm only on page 12, but hopefully I'll really enjoy it, and Snow Globe's release date is February 2024. Next, we have The Kindling by Tracy Chee, and she is the author of the Reader fantasy series, which I know about, but I've never actually read it before. And this book just sounded really interesting to me, and it almost has like a more adult fantasy type feel to it when I read the back of it, and it sounds very military type fantasy, which is kind of rare in young adult, so definitely piqued my interest. But we're following a world where wars were once fought by these magic wielding people known as Kindlings. It doesn't say on the back exactly how this magic worked, but apparently it was really, really powerful. Now that peace has ensued over the countryside, the Kindlings have essentially been tossed aside because their magic wielding abilities is no longer needed. But when violence once again threatens this country and a small village comes under siege, 7 Kindlings kind of come back together to address this new threat. And these warriors are completely changed at this point. So they are having to kind of relearn what it means to be a Kindling, having to deal with their pasts, their trauma, and exactly reclaim what they once were. And it says that not all of them will come out alive. So I don't know if this is the first book in a new series, but it definitely sounds very militaristic, and it follows soldiers and probably each individual soldier's different journey being a Kindling and what that means. So yeah, my interest is definitely piqued, and The Kindlings comes out in March of 2024. Next, we have Compass and Blade by Rachel Greenlaw, and this is a seafaring YA fantasy. And when I read the back of this, I immediately thought it sounded like To Kill a Kingdom, which I used to own but unhauled because I didn't really like it all that much. But I don't know exactly the whole story behind this book, so I'm just going to read what's on the back because it's super short. A girl who plunders shipwrecks to survive, whose blood ignites in water, an enigmatic boy she's rescued from the store-tossed waves, and a desperate quest to discover a family secret hiding in the depths of the ocean. So it's compared to Fable by Adrienne Young, and like I said, To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo, and The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw, which are all books that have an ocean setting and some sort of magic within the ocean, but I think the main character in this is a siren. So if you liked any of those books, this one might speak to you, and I enjoy a good seafaring type story, so I'm excited to have this one. And Compass and Blade releases in March 2024. And lastly, I just wanted to share with you guys the one book signing that I was able to go to, and honestly, I didn't even go to it. My husband went to it for me. So if any of you all have been to these type of events before, there is just not enough time to do everything. So a lot of times me and my husband will split up in order to make sure that we're attending different events, which kind of sucks, but that's not the whole day. So while I was getting the Invocations by Crystal Sutherland, because I had to have a ticket in order to get that book, he was standing in line to get my books by Adrienne Young signed. So I ended up getting Fable and Sky in the Deep signed by Adrienne Young. So I'm super bummed that I wasn't able to meet her myself, but she was still able to sign my books, and my husband said she was really nice, and that was really sweet of him to stand in line and get them signed for me, and sweet of her to do so. So those are the only two books that I got signed. Leigh Bardugo was there, and I did bring 6 of Crows with me, and they only gave out 300 wristbands in order to get her books signed. And when we got there, there had been people that had been camping outside, like where you were going to get the wristbands, since 5 in the morning. And I like Leigh Bardugo. I like her books, but I don't love Leigh Bardugo. Like, she's not one of my favorite all-time authors. So I was like, okay, I'm totally fine not getting 6 of Crows signed. Hopefully she'll be there, you know, at some other point, but it's totally fine. So I did not get 6 of Crows signed, but that's okay. Anyway, you guys, that is it for my YALLFest book haul. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm super excited to have a lot of these books in my possession. Let me know in the comments if you are excited about any of these new releases, or if you've had a chance to get an ARC of them and read it already. And I will see you all in another video soon. Goodbye.